What's going on? Your boy Bowie here, back with the third installment of my Sifu series. And a lot of time has passed since I recorded these videos. And since the time has passed, Sifu has launched a major update. And that update overhauled the practice mode. It gave us new costumes. It changed some UI options. And it made the game both more accessible for some people and more challenging for others. And so I want to use this video to discuss all that and discuss the implications of these things. Alright, so this video was originally recorded well before the update. And so you get to see Sifu as it was and not as it is. And it's nice to reflect on that, as well as give a retrospective on this update. And so I'll talk about the first thing that the update changed. So the update is about a month and some change old now. And one of the main things it did was it overhauled the practice mode. So in this current version of the game that you're watching, practice mode was bare bones as hell. You could only fight one grunt, and he was just there for either combo practice or, combo practice, basically. But now, they've overhauled the practice mode to where you can fight more than just the typical main level thugs. You can fight any enemy type that you encounter in the game. So you can fight the tanks. You can fight the flash kick enemies. You can fight the mobile tanks. That's what I call them. And you can even fight the bosses. And you can fight these enemies 3 at a time, or up to 3 at a time, actually, which is really dope. And it's a much improved practice mode from what we had before. It's still not perfect. I'd like to see, possibly a change in scenery. I would like for them to include things like ledges and stairs and walls and stuff. I mean, you technically do have walls in the practice mode, but you can't really see them, so you don't really know where they are. But I'd like to see the inclusion of more of these elements so that you can practice more strategies, because you can push enemies downstairs and hurt them that way, and you can throw them over ledges and all that. But yeah, but the practice mode has been greatly improved, which is a good thing. One other thing that the update gave us was now you have more costumes per character, or for your character. So before, if you played the console version of this game, the only thing you had access to was the default costume of your character. And that costume only changed if you died. So if you're somebody like me, who played these levels without dying, you got one costume the whole game. And, it's a decent costume, but, it can be monotonous after a while. And so now what happens is, after you beat the game, depending on how you beat the game, which ending you get one of 2 different costumes. And they're worth it. They look very good. They're a palette swap of the OG costume, which is fine, but the color choice is what's the difference, and it looks good. It looks very good. I can't believe I missed that. That's terrible. But anyway, so that's really cool. Also, in the same area where you access these new costumes, you get access to a third new costume that is a deluxe edition costume, which makes me mad that I didn't pick that up. But at the time, I wasn't about to pay for the deluxe edition of a new game, and it's not even clear what all you get in the deluxe edition. Like, it didn't say, hey, you get access to this new costume or whatever. So that's why I didn't pick that up. And so now I kind of want to go back and get that. I might still do it. I don't know. And then also, in the same area, you also have access to switch between the male and female versions of your main character. So instead of you starting a new game with the other gender that you didn't pick before, now you can play as either gender no matter what, which is cool. I think that's dope. But you know, there's been some style changes to the user interface, and you'll see it. When you paused in this version of the game, you only had access to a white menu, but now you have access to a dark menu too, which is nice, and is much preferred. Looks good. But probably the biggest change to the game is the inclusion of added difficulty modes. And so this current version of the game that you're looking at, this was the Sifu experience early on. And so if you wanted to play Sifu, this was the level of gameplay that you would have to be at in order to beat the game. And I think that was perfect. But a lot of people did not share that sentiment, and they thought the game was too hard. And it is a hard game. This game will knock you on your ass if you don't fight, the characters correctly. And if you don't, especially the bosses, if you don't figure out the proper strategy to fight the bosses, they're going to kill you a lot. And so to combat this, Slow Clap gave the game an easy mode and a hard mode now, because this would be considered the medium difficulty here. Of course, they didn't use easy, medium, and hard. They used student, disciple, and master, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And so, it's cool. Doing a little flexing, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But, those were the, what did I call them? The fast tanks? That was one of the fast tanks right there. And I just stabbed in the gut. But anyway, so, yeah, see, look. That was the old user interface. Now you have a dark version. It looks dope. But, yeah, you have an easy, medium, and hard mode. And in easy mode, your health bar is like 50% bigger. Your death counter only goes up by 1, so it doesn't grow with each death. So that means you can die more times before the game is over with. And then also, certain enemies, when you kill them, they recover your health back in full, as opposed to recovering a section of your health. So like right now, look, my health is low. In order for me to get my health bar back up to full, I gotta keep knocking these fools out without, yeah, see, now I have full health. But I had to not get hit. But in easy mode, if I'd have knocked some of these enemies out, no matter where I was at, they would have just given me the full health, which is very interesting. Um, and so this is for people looking for the experience of, having fun with the combat without the crazy repercussions of dying if you don't get things perfectly. Um, Now, I haven't experienced hard mode yet. I haven't tried it out. But basically what hard mode does is it makes the enemies more aggressive than they already are. And the enemies are already fairly aggressive. Like, they don't wait their turn politely for you to be done killing their friend before they attack you. They'll beat your ass up while you're beating somebody up, which is good. They should do that. But now in hard mode, they just mob you. And so you got to be even more strategic about how you fight groups of enemies, and you got to avoid being swarmed, which is good. And that's what this whole game is about, strategy. But then the other big thing that hard mode does is it gives the boss characters new strings and attack patterns for us to learn. And a lot of those strings and attack patterns include more mix-ups. Now, again, I haven't tested this out for myself, but some characters have many more high-low mix-ups, and so it makes it easier for them to mix you to death, which is good, because that will add more challenge and another layer of strategy. And now that the game's been out for some months now, and a lot of the initial hype has died down, I have to say, I find this game to be absolutely exquisite. It's a work of art. It's super fun, and it's very rewarding for those who have persistence and those who are willing to put in the work of repetition. Because what happens is, this game doesn't make things broken for you. This game does not pander or coddle you. It's trying to knock you on your ass. And you have to figure out how to not get knocked on your ass. Just like life. And so the only way to get through that and to defeat that demon, so to speak, is to repeat over and over and over and over and over again. I can't tell you how many times I've played this level and the one after it, which is the tower, to record these videos. I must have played both of these stages 10 times each. Probably more for the tower. Probably like 15, 20 times in order to get the footage that I wanted to get. Because I wanted to show myself beating all the bad guys in the whole stage. I wanted to record myself not dying and sparing the enemies with in every video. Because that was the best that you could possibly do at the time of recording this, And you got to put in work in order to get that kind of footage. In order to get that kind of skill, in order to record that footage, you got to put work in. And you got to put in that work that happens to go along with repetition. And a lot of people are not willing to do that. Not for a video game, not for anything, you know what I'm saying? And, for them, a game like this is going to be too hard. And that's why easy mode is great for them. They'll still need to learn skills, because the bosses are still going to put them on their ass. You're not going to be able to just run up on that second boss and do whatever you want to do to him. He's going to kill you. And you're not going to be able to run up on Kuroki and do it that way either. And so the game still demands that you gain a set of skills in order for you to beat it. But it just makes it easier for you not to be frustrated while doing so, which is good. I think that's a great compromise. And then, of course, hard mode, gives the extra challenge to people who, have pretty much mastered regular mode. And so I really enjoy that aspect of it. But this game's absolutely terrific, and, it's an exercise in who has the patience to deal with repetition and who don't. And it's an exercise in who has the grit and the perseverance to continue with something even though it's hard and even though it's knocking you on your ass. And who don't. You know what I'm saying? So it's an exercise in grit.
I do not want to fight you.
And so you are seeing the results of the work that I've put in. And even since recording these videos, I'm still playing this game, getting better and whatnot. I have not reached the pinnacle by any stretch of the imagination. I'm still working at that. But let's talk about this boss now. It's interesting because if you fight this boss wrong, she will put you on your ass. And the wrong way to fight her, in my estimation, is to run up on her and be within range of her damn whatever that attack is, or whatever that weapon is. Those blades, as you can see, cover mad distance. And so if you're up inside that distance, she will shred your health bar. And in case it's not apparent, some of those attacks are low. So you can't just go straight blocking all of that stuff. You gotta block high and low, depending on what part of the string she's doing and which string it is. See, that's a high, low, high, low. You know what I'm saying? From what I can tell, it seems to alternate quite a bit. But I'm not trying to fight her in that way. Notice I'm right outside of her attack range. In fighting games, we would call this stepping right outside of the footsie range. And so what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to whiff punish her like that. When she finishes her attacks, then I go in and I hit her. See? Because you can do that. I didn't mean to get hit right there. Trying to grab my weapon. She gonna backflip. Okay. You can block all of this, which is good for breaking her structure. And speaking of structure, with this boss, I find that it's better to break her structure than it is to whittle her health down, because if you look, at her health bar, she has like 70 some odd % health. Well, probably like 60 something now. So she has 60% health. But if you look at that structure, it's almost broken. So you're better off just breaking her structure than trying to whittle her health down. You know what I'm saying? And so, bam! See? So now her structure's broken. And though you don't have to use a weapon, I highly recommend using a weapon against her, because weapons do more structure damage than your regular attacks do. And so even if she has to block your stuff, it's doing more structure damage than your normal attacks would. But then once you get to this part's easy as shit. Dodge, 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 dodge. Oh, she was going to attack. Dodge. Well, I was just blocking. You can dodge that. Wait until she flashes. Dodge again. Bomb. Bum, 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 bum. Dodge. See? See, now notice she broke out of that, right? So now when she approaches, be block, block, block. Dodge, dodge, dodge. Dodge that. Ooh. Hit her punk ass. See, she was able to get up quickly. Nope. Block, 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 block. Dodge. Ooh, she got super stunned right there. So one of the brilliant gameplay elements of this game that it doesn't talk about that much and other people don't talk about is the fact that you can do what I call a full stun on enemies. So when they whiff an attack and you hit them at a certain point, obviously you stun enemies and you get to hit them for free, you know. But most of the times those stuns are what I call half stuns. But then you get a full stun and you can tell it's a full stun because you get to attack for longer. And she has like a little black aura around her when she gets hit. And now I can spare her. Again, notice I didn't whittle her health down. I broke her stamina. Or her structure, I should say. And so, understand that in a game like this, against these bosses, structure is as important, if not more important, than health. So learn to break these bosses' structure. Beautiful. But with that being said, y'all, peace.